Why does it always have to take public complaint for the police to act professionally? And this is a question that we must contend with, because we need the police. We need the police to protect us. We need the police to enforce the laws. But how do we trust the police if this is what happens when in the very station? This man, where was he? He was arrested in Homa Bay, right? There are police stations across the country, and including in Homa Bay County, some of which I have visited because in the course of doing our work, we go there, right? This man was arrested for false publication, right? Which under our penal code, yes, bears a criminal charge and you can be arrested and held for it, fine, right? But what is wrong with the cells in Homa Bay? What was wrong with the policing in Homa Bay that the man would have to be driven all the way to Nairobi, right? Number two, there's still a very big lack of clarity about his condition when he got to Nairobi, right? There's I believe it was Albert's father who had seen him. He was bleeding through the nose and mouth, and his face was swollen, and he had defensive marks as well. The third and perhaps most obvious, he wasn't in a cell on his own. There's no narrative. Obviously, maybe the people are still in there, but there must have been people who witnessed what has happened here. Where are those voices? Once again, the spotlight is on the police and IPOA, but I think more broadly on the National Police Service Commission. Because what this tells us is that for the many, many attempts that have been made to reform the police force, there still is a very brutal streak within the force itself that would allow for something like this to happen, and for the initial sort of reflex to be to hide who was behind this. It shouldn't have taken complaint, it shouldn't have taken anger from the public for the Inspector General of Police to recognize that there was an officer commanding station who was responsible for that police station. There was a sentry, right? There were people who arrested him. There were people in the cell. There were so many people who could have offered the right kind of information before they come out with something like that.